my first impression is that it looked awesome, just like the kitchen, so I thought it was really cool. But my expectations were limited.
I had no idea. I knew we were going to be making food. That was kind of all I knew.
Like, I don't even really consider myself to like be a good cook or like skilled at cooking, so my initial impression was kind of like nervousness.
And I didn't realize what the meal plan was, and I hated it for a week.
But I wasn't really familiar with like the fact that we get so much money for food.
And then I loved it.
Coming here, I can prepare my own food that is delicious.
It's really beneficial for people with like dietary restrictions, which is one of the first things about co-op that I really liked.
I kind of thought it was just like, you make food, you cook food more, but there's more to it.
It's become a lot less to me about cooking and just more about cooperative living.
There's like a more of a structured thing behind it within like everyone that lives here, like how we all have to kind of work together and plan stuff out.
I feel like this year the community has been more a priority, and that's because we're cooking together every night.
Well, I definitely appreciate how much work it is to build the sort of community that I'm looking for.
If you want to get something out of anything, you really have to like put the work in.
Which I think, given the name co-op, makes a lot of sense. Co-op has become less about, oh, I'm going to eat good food, but it's been more about I get to live and function with a group of people in which we're all putting in an effort to make the living situation something that is not only a beneficiary to each other, but also enjoyable.
I think I've gotten a lot closer to that expectation this year through full co-op than I did last year.
Because last year was sort of like a toes in the water experience, I guess. It wasn't like we were cooking together every night, so we weren't as like much of a community, in my opinion.
And this is the first year that it's like back to normal, I guess. And so I feel like everybody kind of came in with different expectations because not everybody knew how it used to be. And so like having to let go of the expectations that I had and sort of just kind of go with the flow.
So what have you learned about yourself since you started living here?
Ooh.
Well, I think just how much I appreciate communal existence. It is so satisfying to be able to help provide for a large group of people and know that they will help provide for me, to be able to stick up and stick out for people and know that they're going to do the same for me.
I feel like I've learned that like it's okay to like be alone on campus at large. Like we live like far away from the other dorms, and I've learned like it's cool to like just hang out in co-op with your co-op friends, and like it's okay to like be alone in this bubble. And like this bubble I really enjoy.
I mean, I already sort of knew this about myself, that I tend to be a people pleaser to an unhealthy extent, but I had to set specific boundaries for like group chores and things like that, because if I didn't stop myself, I would just do all of the work until I was burnt out.
In my mind, like I understood like, oh, we're living with people. We all want to like work together and like hear each other out, and like it's a lot more important than I anticipated it was going to be. I don't know. I feel like I tend to voice my opinion a lot in the house. Like part of me is also afraid that people think I'm like annoying and bossy because I do that a lot.
It is about communication and compromise. You're living with other people, and that includes their living habits and your living habits, which may or may not coincide very well. And you have to learn to communicate those grievances and communicate ways to solve those issues, if there are any.
If you like leave something or do something and like someone else sees it when you're not there, there's no context for it. It'll be like annoying. Like if you leave a dish or something, you're just like, ugh, someone left their dish. So it's good to be like, hey, leaving this dish here, I'll be back in like 4 hours after class or whatever to do it.
Like no one wants to clean the dishes, right? But like someone has to do it. I ate like some of the salmon. I was like, oh, that's not that much left, Jenna. Like you really can't like leave that behind. Like someone's gonna want to eat that, and there's gonna be free bites. Like that's so rude. So then I like force myself to eat the rest, and then as I'm like cleaning it, it's like fishy, like, and I'm not liking this. But the food I just ate was also really good, so I'm gonna have to just suck it up and do it.
For me, it's like nothing's gonna go perfectly. Like it's important to make sure things are working as smoothly as possible, even if that isn't always the case.
Stuff gets in the drains and the sinks. Do I want to use my hand to scoop it out? No. but someone has to do it. Yeah, and like the work at Commons that like we don't see. There's people back there that are like working really hard.
I think it's nice having like a community that you really do live with, and you get to do more personal aspects of your life, like cooking and cleaning and stuff like that, that you wouldn't get from like a big dorm.
It's cooperative living. It's very much a community.
I was sick for like 2 weeks, but I was able to have people cover for me. Yeah, I was able to recuperate with all like everyone's help and cooperation. So
We rely on each other so much that it makes it more, it makes a stronger connection, a better bond.
We're really getting to the point where it's like we're a family and like we look out for each other and we help each other out. And sometimes it's not pretty and sometimes it's not easy.
But honestly, it's been kick-ass so far. It's been wonderful.
I already knew that. Outshine fruit bars are great, and I have one every single day. But I know that more now that I live here.
I'm very happy living in the co-op.
Do you want to live in co-op with me next year?